Good afternoon, friends. It is a fine summer's day at the end of July, year of our Lord 2019, and we have a new project on the table. And again, something rather special. Do I say that about every guitar that comes in here? Almost. Anyway, let me show you what we got. I think you can see from where you are. Yes, you're right, it is a Strat. It's a Stratocaster, it is a Fender, but it is not American and it's certainly not Mexican, it is Japanese. I can tell that by the sticker on the back that says Made in Japan, with a serial number VO2. 444, no, does it 02 stand for year? 02, 2002, 50th anniversary. The thing is with 50th anniversary, I'm thinking if that's 50th anniversary of Fender, it's got to be one specific year, but it's not. There are 95s, 96s and all sorts of 50th anniversary. So, what exactly does it mean? I'm not entirely sure. I've not going to research it properly yet, but anyway, we do have a Japanese Fender Strat. I would imagine it's a late 90s, early 2000s. I'd be saying 2000s, but I'm not sure. Again, it could be 1992 for all I know. I've got absolutely no idea. When did Fender start making guitars? I also have no idea. Maybe I should know that. But anyway, let's have a look at it. Beautiful sunburst. I don't know what the pickups are, but I would say these pickups have probably been changed because the pickups are pure white, where the scratch plate is a cream colour. Now, I've already been told to go and fetch some cream pickup covers, which I've done. I ordered them quite a while ago. They are here. I'm going to scratch them up and age them slightly before I put them on. I don't know what pickups are in it. I do know we do have two regular tones and one volume, so I'd imagine there's no tone on the bridge. Tone on the middle will be that one, tone on the neck will be that one, and we have a master volume. No tone at all on the bridge pickup. This bridge pickup is not sat right, which says to me these screws are probably too long, so I'm probably going to have to shorten those. Frets wise, I don't know what condition the frets are in, but I'm already thinking this guitar is going to be having an intensive setup. The bridge has been swapped out. I know it's been swapped out because that is a Wilkinson bridge, and Fender guitars do not come with a Wilkinson bridge, they come with a Fender bridge. No name backplate there, and I also know that the tuners have been swapped out because this would have had vintage type tuners originally. Now these are saying made in Japan on the back, but there's no brand name on there. But I'm thinking if they're made in Japan, they really have to be Goto tuners. There is no other brand in Japan, you know, that could stand up to being good enough for this guitar other than Goto. I'm not an aficionado of Japanese guitars, but I do have Japanese guitars. I do consider Japanese guitars to be some of the best made guitars in the world, and I love Japanese guitars, so I have a strong suspicion that that would be Goto hardware. Goto hardware is also made in Korea, because I know some of the Wilkinson hardware is made at the same place that Goto stuff is made in Korea. So not all of Goto stuff is made in Japan, and it makes sense for them to part it out and have it done in other countries where it's going to be a little bit cheaper, but I do know that Goto do not scrimp on quality. So anyway, so we have a Japanese guitar with a Wilkinson bridge, possibly made in Japan. Certainly have Goto, we certainly have Japanese tuners. The nut looks to be original, I can tell because, oh, it might not be, but it looks like there's lacquer over the nut, so that looks to be original. The frets look in decent shape, though they are flat in spots. Oh, there's quite a bit of wear. Quite a bit of wear in these places. You not see from where you are, but take my word for it, we'll have a close up on that in a bit. Now, the owner of this guitar is quite a new client. He's not brand new. He's been coming to me for about 3 months. This is a third of his guitars I've had. And he says, just do whatever needs doing. I know he has not paid a lot of money for this guitar, which is always good news. In fact, he's paid well under the odds. So I'm interested to find out what pickups are in there, and what the state of the frets is or are. I don't think it needs a refret, but it may need some fret leveling. A refret, then again, may be half an idea, because these frets are really weedy. I would say they're really vintage size. Maybe they are just over 2 millimeters wide, maybe 2.3 millimeters. I would like to see something a little bit bigger than that. I would go with modern medium jumbo frets on there, around about 2.6 mil wide, so we could certainly get another third of a millimeter width on there, and a bit more height, which will give us longevity. It will future-proof the guitar. But let's not say what we're going to do yet until I can get the strings off and check the guitar over properly. I'm going to give this a full strip. I would be thinking, if we don't need to do any major fretwork, I'll be thinking in the region of an intensive setup at £75, maybe a little bit extra on top for working on the pickups. If I have to work on the pickups, I'm thinking those pickup bolts are going to be a little bit long. It's why these pickup covers do not sit straight. You'll get more of an idea about that. When you see this one, for instance, it is leaning backwards that way, and that normally means these screws are too long. I'm able to nip off the ends, do a little bit extra work. But anyway, I'm recommending we go with an intensive setup. I will check the electrics as well. Everything gets done. We do everything we do on a player setup, plus we do the electrics. Also, with it being a tremolo, it will be a £10 surcharge on there, because I have to set the tremolo as well. So we're looking at around about £85. If it's not set strings, it'd be £90, £5 for a set of strings, maybe a fiver on top if I have to do any extra work under the pick guard. So we're looking £95 tops for an intensive setup with some minor fret work, all the electrics done, everything's set. And yeah, should be a fun project. So I'm going to test certain things off camera. I'm going to test the setup. It will be getting a full and complete setup anyway. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the strings off and we're going to have a look at these frets in detail and see what we think. So stay tuned, back soon. So back with this Japanese Strat, and it's my recommendation that I am thinking probably a refret. Though the frets aren't that bad, they are quite low and they are worn in certain places. They are still level, which is a surprise, but there's a lot of flat areas and there's a lot of pitting from fret 1 up to round about going up towards fret 12. And the frets are uneven everywhere, they're all up and down. I will try and show you a little bit of that pitching of those indentations on this end, and if you could pause and zoom in here. There are a lot of indentations, but you can't really see. You probably need the guitar in your hand to see them properly. I can see them standing out clearly here. Now the frets themselves, they're about 0.8mm high, which means really, if I do a fret level on these and a reprofile, which I'm considering, I'm not going to have a lot of height left on these frets to profile them or to recrown them. I think I just have enough. And I've recommended to the doctor that if he wants me to proceed with this guitar, I do recommend a complete refret, but I'm quite happy to do one more fret level and a recrown, a reprofile at £100. That is the cheapest option. It will give you probably 2 more years of moderate or heavy use on the guitar. If you're a light player, it may give you even longer. But the benefit of doing a refret on a guitar like this, and I know he didn't pay a lot for this guitar, so it might be cost effective to actually do a refret. If I put new frets on this, 25% nickel silver, Syntom's Elite fret wire, you're going to get 30 more years out of it. And that is more or less future-proofing the guitar. Downsides on that, removing the nut can always be a bit of a bind because the nut is still lacquered over, so that nut has never been changed, so there's always a chance of damaging that area. I won't damage it, but it can happen. I am going to recommend to the doctor there, I'm going to recommend that we don't go with a fret skim and a reprofile at £100. If he wants to splash out the extra for a refret, that'll be £225, all inclusive, including a new nut and strings and fret wire. It would actually be more than that. Not 250, it'd be 225 plus strings, £230 if we go for a complete refret with strings. That'll be £15 for a fret wire, £10 for the nut, £5 for the strings and £200 for the job. Which I don't think is too bad. A couple of other things, you do get a complete setup with a refret. You also get a complete setup with a fret level. I'm going to get in there inside the electrics, have a look inside there, and I'm going to look at why these pickups are leaning forwards the wrong way. It is my suspicion that the pickup height screws are slightly too long and we maybe need to nip off a couple of millimeters off the bottom of those screws. I've done it many times before. So that is where we are with this guitar. For now, getting it fixed up quick and getting it playable for the next couple of years. Fret level, recrown. I can see that the frets in the middle are more worn than at the edges, so the guitar has had a lot of play, a lot of use, but at least it has had play all up and down the fingerboard, so that is a good thing. Let's come with the doctor now, let's see what he says. I know frets are not in good shape. Can we go for £100 option now? I'll probably get a refret next year in the middle of shifting to Derby. there you go. We're going for a fret skim now, and he's going to have it refretted later on, maybe in a year or two. Right, I'll just type in, would be my advice. So we're going to go for that. There you go. So we're going for a fret skim and a fret level. He will bring it back in a year's time, we'll get a refret. So that's absolutely fine. The frets are pretty low down there in the middle. I just need to do a quick skim across the top. It's a reprofiling, it's going to take the time. So I shall get the neck off the guitar. At various stages I'll come and show you little bits and bobs of what I'm doing. I'm going to take the scratch plate off, have a look at the electrics, check those pickup height screws. I've got to put new pickup covers on there anyway, which I have. I bought them last month. So I'm going to crack on and I'll come back and give you an update pretty soon. So without messing about, I've got the neck taped up. Obviously the neck is level, and I've been across it with the leveling beam. I did first go across with some 240 grit because there's some quite deep indentations in there. But we're all done. You see I have a nut covered as well. Probably not as much covered as I want it to be. What I do with this is I build a ramp, and I've used this a few times. And what we do is we build that up to the nut. It means when we come across with the leveling beam, and we come over the frets, we hit the nut area, we're going to go up and over it without damaging the nut. So anyway, just finishing off with the 400 grit. The frets are now level and nice and smooth. Just nice smooth strokes. Let the weight of the beam do the work. And we've removed all of those indentations on the frets. We've maintained the radius of 7 1/4 inches, well, as much as we could. Because these have flattened out in the middle a little bit, the radius is probably nearer 8.5 than 7.5, but I'm just curling over these edges here. And with the frets now all level, which I'll clean off fingerboard, these feel all beautifully smooth. We are just going to check that the frets are all level. I've already done this, and I know they are. We just have enough material left on these frets to crown. We've probably got about 0.8, 0.9 millimeters, which is great. It's about as low as I would want to go. Without refretting, we're probably just on that cusp, but we do have enough material there. The frets are beautifully level. What I need to do is get them all crowned, and what I'll do for that is, you see I don't have this affixed to a piece of MDF like I normally do. I just wanted to get this done. I knew I didn't have a lot of work to get them levelled, and we're gonna, in the morning, we're gonna reprofile these frets, but they are beautiful. They are so level. That is fantastic. So there you go. All the frets are levelled, but we've flattened them now, and I'm going to put a crown back in the morning. I could go with a 3-sided file, but I think I'm just going to go with the crowning file, make it a little bit easier. We won't need too much work, and we'll get them all polished up again, and get the neck back on the guitar, and we can get all the setup done. So, back in the morning. Good morning, fret friends. Slightly bizarre camera angle, but needs must. We're just polishing the frets this morning, and because these frets are so low, and I was able to crown them, but there's not a lot of material to work with because these are so low, so I've decided to polish them using Crimson Guitars polishing rubbers, and I've been with the coarse and the medium already. There they are. I'm not a massive fan of these, but in this instance they will work, and all I need to do now is go across with the 2 other ones, and I've got a fine one and a super fine one, and what these are, these rubbers contain grit like sandpaper inside. And what they do is they polish the frets, supposedly. So I'm going to use them. And they are bringing them to a nice shine, and they are getting rid of the scratches, so that's all good. I will, however, finish them off with steel wool to just remove everything and give them a nice sheen, shine, whatever you want to call it. And there you go. I have more trouble trying to keep the rubber on the fret, so it takes a little while. I'm trying to build a groove in there. Oh, I've got it upside down, that's why. I've already built a groove this side. And there you go, it's much easier. So that's it. 22 times 5, 110 polishes altogether. I'm getting up to halfway through, and these are coming up beautiful, and it doesn't take too long. This rubbing can make your arm really ache, but I'm used to it now because I do it a lot. Someone mentioned on one of the videos that I posted yesterday, wow, your arms must really ache doing that all the time. And the thing is, you don't, because you build up not so much resistance, but you get used to it. It's like training, any kind of physical training. You train certain muscle groups, you're not going to struggle with them, but you do training exercise you've not done for a long time, that muscle group is going to hurt for the first week or so. But anyway, these are coming up really nice. Not too bad a job. And once I've done that, I will brush off the excess. And they are, I hope you can see that, they're coming up really nice. So I'm going to crack on with these, get them done with some steel wool, final polish, and we'll get the neck back on the guitar and get the guitar set up. This video is not going to be a super long video. It takes a long time to get these videos sorted, so I want to keep it a bit short today because I've got a lot of work on. So check back later. Just finishing off with a steel wool, and these frets look fantastic. Nice and silver shiny. Scratches all gone, glass like, smooth. And they're beautiful, and I've been up and down the edges, I've been across all of the frets, and they are finished. And I'm hoping you can get a, let's see how good and how nice they are. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove all the tape, get the neck back on the guitar, we can get the guitar set up, we'll recut the nut slots, tidy everything up a little bit, sand that a little bit smoother, get all the dark crud off there. We can get the guitar set up and out of the door. Okay guys, back on the setup bench, and before I put everything back together, I've just soldered the wires back and put this scratch plate on. We are not changing the pickup covers, even though I bought some. They sent the wrong size, I've decided to return them. The owner of the guitar says just leave them, so we're going to just leave them. So hopefully I'm going to get my money back for the wrong ones. Just a couple of things to do. Make sure the tremolo is set. The first 2 screws I'll screw down to the body. Is what we do, and all the other ones we turn back a quarter turn. So to the body, back a quarter. Because how we set these tremolos is we just set them as a normal fulcrum tremolo, where the outer 2 screws are the pivot, and we just turn these back just 1/4 turn. That is now done. Just wanted to show something. I wanted to show a neck pocket because I don't know what body exactly this is. Just want to show a neck pocket, show if there's any markings in there. Not any great shakes. There is, however, a badly installed shim in there, which Fender do. So I'm inclined to think that this is a Fender body. It's one made anyway. The neck, now the neck is another story. It does have markings on there, ST-54DEX2. Don't know what any of that means. Just say made in Japan, but the problem with this is the holes. Look at that. That's been on more than one body. So I'm not convinced that this neck and this body have always been together. So that body couldn't possibly not be a Fender body. I do not know. But this is certainly made in Japan. It is a Fender neck. So the neck is right, the body I'm not convinced. But all I can do is just put it back together. I'm not filling any of those holes in because the screws do fit properly. We're going to get the guitar back together right here, right now, if I can get that to line up, which it doesn't seem to want to. So we're going to get the neck plate on. We'll get 1 screw in there. You can't really see what I'm doing right now, and that's just unfortunate because I'm not moving the camera. In fact, I'm not moving anything. I just need to get a screw in, and once the screw is in, we can get some strings on. Well, once I've got the neck on, we'll get some strings on. Just want to get 1 screw in so the neck is held. And there you go. And now we can lay the guitar face down and get on with the rest of the job. I'll check the neck position before I tighten anything proper, because we do want the neck setting correctly for the strings to line up on equal sides of the neck itself, inside of the neck. We don't want one with a 1mm gap and another one with a 5mm gap. We need them all lining up properly. So I'm just going to take these screws in there, turn it back 1/4 turn, just so I can get the neck lined up. I should be able to eyeball it and get it pretty straight. So let's see where we are. I take a long rule, of which I have a 600mm one. And if I go straight down the centre, straight down the middle, and we're looking there right at the third one, and we're looking, that neck is looking absolutely fine as it is. It's right on line, so I can just turn it over, tighten up these neck screws. I will ever so slightly over tighten, just give them an extra nip. I'm quite a strong lad, should be at 15 stone. And there you go, so the neck is on the guitar. Again, we will just check the alignment. I'll go right down the centre of these dots and we'll right in the middle of the bridge. So yeah, that neck is set wonderfully. It's perfect. So, all that remains for me to do now is to get some strings on. Very fortunate in as much as the strings have just arrived this morning. D'Addario 942s. I was completely out of 9s. I've got plenty of 10s but no 9s. 942s on a Strat. So I'm going to stick a set of those on. I will come back and we'll have a look at the nut. All being well, I won't need to do anything on the nut, but if I do, we will cut those slots again. Just give us a wipe. Oh, I've not shown you the frets, have I? Let's just bring the guitar up. There's the frets. Can I get around there? I can just get there. Recrowned and polished. If I get a little bit lower, that's as close as I can get because I'm up against the wall. All crowned and polished. Beautiful. How's that for you? So, setup to be done. I will come back and show you the results of that in a little while. Welcome back, fret friends. I did jump on a little bit because this guitar didn't need certain things I might have been doing on the setup. For instance, the nut slots being cut, they didn't need touching. They're absolutely fine. So, got the strings on, stretched them in, and put the back plate on the guitar and have it all finished. And a relatively easy one this, which makes things a lot better. Because, for instance, well, I didn't have to, like I said, I didn't have to cut the nut. So all I've really done on this is set up the bridge. I've given a complete setup, by the way. Done the reset the intonation, and given it a fret level and a fret reprofiling. Every nut and bolt on the guitar has been tightened up and checked, including the strap pins. Something I've just noticed: the bridge pickup is a little bit too close to the strings for my liking. So I'm just going to drop that down. These being staggered poles, they do tend to get really close to the guitar, so I'm going to drop that down just a little. But everything else on the guitar is great. One thing we didn't do is we didn't change the pickup covers because the guy I bought them off sent the wrong ones. He sent, these are all 52mm, he sent a 50 and two 48s. So I messaged him, told him blah 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 blah, and he says we'll send some more out. I says, well, it's no good, they're not going to be quick enough. Another thing about this guitar, the radius is 7.25 on the neck, which surprised me. I thought it'd be 9.5, but no, standard or vintage Fender size. The guitar plays fantastic, sounds fantastic. Oh, one thing I did do, didn't show it in the video, is I added the bridge pickup to the tone circuit. And all we do is that is we put a jumper wire from the blah 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 from the tone side of the circuit and jumper it to the middle pickup. So the middle pickup tone, this one also works the bridge. So tone, and this tone pot works just the neck. So yeah, that gives you another option. Big fat chunky neck on this. Really, really nice guitar. Like I say, swapped out tuners, but doesn't it look good now with the frets reprofiled? We will not get another level out of those. They're as low as we dare go, but because of that, we've got the action a little bit lower as well. We're about 1.6mm at the low E string on the 12th fret, about 1.4mm on the high string. Plays really, really nice. A little bit of relief in there, and a fantastic guitar, especially for the price the doctor paid for this. I know what he paid for this. He absolutely got this for almost nothing. Amazing piece of business there. So yeah, so all done. So all I've got to do is get this wrapped away, get it back in its case, let the owner know it's ready to collect, and move on to the next project. So just before I go, just want to remind you of my website, facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/NGONESEVEN. My name is Vic. I'm your fret friend, and until next time, as always, God bless you, be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.